It was quite a frustrating weekend for the lock of the night plays as the Cage Warriors lock of the night play was knocked out in 4 seconds after a very unfortunate glove touch that Charles Joyner's opponent took full advantage of, seemed to dupe Joyner into the glove touch and then just starched him right after that. So we didn't even get to see that fight really play out. Ednelson Santos for LFA nearly knocked out Dylan Mantello numerous times in the first round, and it seemed like he blew his gas tank trying to do so, inevitably getting finished in the second round. And then Mick Parkin for the UFC. I thought he won the first round. I thought he won the second round. And then obviously Tybura won the third. But even still, with it being a lock of the night play, it should not have been that close. And I really expected Parkin to start running away with that matchup or even finding a knockout. But credit to the Polish veteran Marcin Tybura for making it way closer than it should have been and ultimately pulling off the upset there. And even though we got in on Parkin at plus 110 and he closed closer to minus 170, you can't cash the ticket at the end of the day, and that is the unfortunate part there. So again, we had some momentum going our way, and this past weekend just snatched it all away from us. So that now brings our yearly record for the lock of the night play to 11-12. Yuck, under 50%, not good at all. Minus 21.96 units, minus 19% ROI. Getting further from that 50 unit goal that I had for the year. So we'll see if we can dial it in. Still got ton of time. We still got 8 months of work to still do here, so I'm not fretting too much, but it was a very discouraging past weekend in terms of lock of the night plays. So let's try to get back on track here. And I do quickly want to say the two spots that I felt pretty good in terms of lock of the night plays and then ended up switching them kind of last minute. Obviously, Mick Parkin was the lock of the night play, but I felt really damn good about Alexia Thainara. She goes out there and rolls up Molly McCann in a round, and then Denzel Freeman for the LFA ends up going out there and getting the finish in the second round. So I still ended up playing those guys, but not as the lock of the night play. And, I'm very bitter about that. Those were the first spots that I felt good on each of those cards, but ended up switching my plays. So I'm hoping that this weekend, there is a certain spot where I felt good about it and I'm going to stick with it. And there was another play that came up as well that I was like, maybe this one instead. But after remembering what happened this past weekend, I'm going with the one that I felt good about at first, and we're going to go with it and see if it ends up cashing for us this weekend. So reminder, this lock of the night, top 3 lock of the night candidates video was giving you my 3 candidates. Only one of them will be the official lock of the night play. Considering the run that we're on, you can choose to fade or follow, completely up to you. But let me know in the comment section what your lock of the night play will be. All right, let's get right into this. The first one up is going to be actually a total with Jamal Emmers and Gabriel Miranda under 2.5 at minus 205. Now, Miranda, in my opinion, is like the Brazilian Terrence McKinney, a guy that does not like seeing the scorecards. And in particular for Miranda, 20 of his 24 fights have finished inside the distance, with all 20 of those coming under 1.5 rounds. Now we're getting an extra 5 minutes at the under 2.5 here, and I believe that's more so to do with the Jamal Emmers side of things. But I believe his speed and striking advantage will allow him to find the knockout here against Miranda. But even if not, Gabriel Miranda is very good in terms of taking opponents down and snatching up submissions, as 16 of his 17 wins have come by submission because of how aggressive he is. So even if it's Emmers getting the knockout here or Miranda, I expect this under 2.5 to hit with relative ease, and that's why it's the first candidate of my lock of the night plays. The second candidate for the lock of the night is going to be Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod, coming in at minus 150 as he goes up against Melquizael Costa. Now, both these guys are seeking their second wins of 2025 after Rodriguez, again, I always want to make these guys Brazilian by going H instead of R, but Rodriguez was able to hand Austin Bashi the first loss of his pro career back in January, stuffing the takedowns and battering him on the feet. And then on the flip side for Melquizael Costa, he was able to submit Andre Fili at the beginning of the year. Now, I can already hear it People are going to be harping on this pick in terms of Rodriguez's last loss coming by guillotine to Julian Erosa, and Melquizael Costa just winning a fight by guillotine. And I really think it was just a minor mistake on the Rodriguez side that I do not expect him to make once again. We've seen him put in even worse positions in the past against guys like Raul Rosas Jr. and Isaac Dalgarian, and he was able to work out of those spots, stay safe defensively, and then get back to his striking advantage, which is what I'm expecting him to do here against Costa. Costa is not all that comfortable in the striking realm, normally utilizing a lot of kicks to try to stay safe until he can get fights into the jiu-jitsu realm, but I think he's going to struggle to do that here against Rodriguez, ultimately allowing Rodriguez to pick him apart on the feet, maybe find a finish in the second or third round, but I think he wins this matchup straight up, and at minus 150, I'm more than happy to take the plunge here as a potential lock of the night play. The third and final lock of the night play is going to be Lupita Godinez coming in at minus 220 as she goes up against Julia Pilastri. Now, Pilastri's takedown defense looked pretty good last time around against Corey McKenna, but McKenna was at a huge strength disadvantage and physicality disadvantage. That's not going to be the case here for Godinez, who can do a good enough job in terms of staying competitive in the striking realm and then blending her takedowns behind that to keep Pilastri on her back and grind this fight out. Pilastri looked impressive up until that third round last time around, but I think she's going to struggle to get off on that striking success against somebody like Godinez. Now, again, Godinez is on a 2-fight losing streak, but look at those matchups stylistically speaking. She could not get to her striking game the way that she wanted to because of the threat of the takedowns coming back away from jiu-jitsu wizards like Verna Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern, and I think that muzzled the offense of Godinez, but also she couldn't get to her wrestling because she did not feel as comfortable on the ground against those types of BJJ masters. But here against Pilastri, I don't think she has that to worry about. I think we'll see Godinez mix it up well and eventually get her hand raised on the scorecards and possibly casting as a lock of the night candidate. There you guys go. 3 lock of the night candidates. I'll have another one for the LFA 205 card that's going to go down on Friday. So check out the lock of the night Patreon page if you want access to that. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Chalk or Not segment. I quickly also want to say, I should have put this at the beginning of this segment here, but the dog of the night has been absolutely killing it, and I think that has a lot to do with why, some of the lock of the night plays are not hitting. For my dog of the night plays, I am 14-12 on the year for plus 6.67 units and a 26% ROI. Underdogs are barking this year. And I think it's going to show in some of these lock of the night spots not hitting. I even hit a few underdogs as my lock of the night plays in the past. So maybe having a little bit more confidence in some of these dogs and making them lock of the night plays would prove to be more fruitful in 2025. So again, not the best year so far for the lock of the night play, but dog of the night been absolutely killing it, and I hope to continue that run-in for you guys here. All right. That's a wrap on the lock of the night plays. I'll see you guys, like I said, again tomorrow for the Chalk or Not segment for UFC Mexico, which was absolutely crazy for UFC London last week. Pretty much hit everything. We'll see if we can do it again for you guys. See you then. Peace.